Hello students, this is Asma Babwani and today we will be studying Grade 7 Social Science Chapter 5 Adivasis. Let's start the chapter. Some groups have done a recommendable work of conservation of India's distinctive identity and culture. These groups really did praiseworthy deeds of preservation from sage culture, agriculture, culture till forest culture. Not only this, these groups have played an important role in the development of India. Let us know more about these groups in this chapter. Students, various groups have done praiseworthy deeds of preservation from sage culture, agriculture to forest culture of India. And we will be studying about these groups in this chapter. Adivasis. The Constitution of India includes specific Adivasi groups in the schedule who protect traditional culture. These groups are known as scheduled tribes. Students, there is a specific Adivasi group that are included in the Constitution of India and protecting traditional culture. These groups are known as scheduled tribes. If you look at the lifestyle of the Adivasi of India, there are various festivals, customs, food, dress, dialect, painting, music, and dance, etc., create their distinctive identity. Before independence, this society was different from other societies in some ways. Still, their contribution in the Indian system is quite significant. Literary in Adivasi, Adi means olden from olden times and Vasi means inhabitant. The relation of our old culture is associated with this name only. Students, the lifestyle of Adivasi of India can be seen in their various festivals, food, customs, their dress, their dialect, their painting, music, and dance. And before independence of our country, tribal society was different from other societies, and still their contribution in the Indian system is quite significant. And the word Adivasi, it literally means, the first part is Adi. Adi means from olden times, and the second part Vasi, word Vasi means inhabitant. The members of each tribe were connected with one another by tribal, that is, kabilas or family kinship practice. They earned their livelihood as hunters and pastoralists. Along with farming to some extent, forest and nature had greatest impact on their lives. Their houses were made of natural resources only. These tribes had rights over land and land produce and distributed them among the families on the basis of their own rules. The principle of community living is also found in their economy as they lived in community. Social equality was seen in different communities. Students, the members of each tribe were connected with one another by tribal. They are known as kabilas. And kabilas means families and friendship practice. They lived their life as hunter and pastoralist as well as farming to some extent. Forest and nature were the factors that had the greatest impact on the life of the tribes. Their houses were made of natural resources only, and these tribes they jointly control the land and the products which are produced from the lands, and they distribute it among them, all the families according to their own rules. They have their own rules. From this, it can be said that the life of the people of the tribes was of a collective type. So, the principle of the community living is found in their economy. Social equality was also seen in different communities. Different tribes developed in different parts of the subcontinent. They usually lived in forests, mountains, deserts, and inaccessible places. Sometimes they even clash with the rulers, yet the tribes maintained their independence and preserved their culture. Generally, the different communities of India were interdependent for their needs. Due to this interdependence, these tribes changed gradually. Contemporary historians and travelers have given very little information about the tribes. With few exceptions, these tribes do not have written document. These tribes protected their own rich customs and oral traditions. These traditions were inherited by the new generation. Present day historians also use such oral traditions to write the history of the tribes. Students, these tribes they generally live in forests, mountains, deserts, and in inaccessible places. Tribes sometimes clashed with the rulers. Yet the tribes preserved their independence and culture. All the tribes were dependent on each other for their needs. Due to this interdependence, these tribes changed gradually. Written documents about tribal information are not available. The tribal people protected their own rich customs and oral traditions and passed them on to the new generation. Historians use these oral traditions to write the history of the tribes. Way of life and culture. Adivasi community is different from other communities in some regards, which creates its distinctive identity. In some matters, their beliefs are similar to other communities. Students, the Adivasi community differs from the other communities in some respects, and while in some cultural matters, their beliefs are similar to those of other communities. And, in the past, the tribal community was dependent on forest products as well as agriculture for their livelihood. The things produced by their art and skills also became very important source of their income. The forest products collected by them also provided them with income. Animal husbandry played an important role in their livelihood. Students, the livelihood of the tribal people, that is Adivasi community, it completely dependent on hunting, collecting forest products, local agriculture, animal husbandry, and the things produced by their art and skills. These tribes people living in different parts of Gujarat have created a special identity through their attire and ornaments. In North Gujarat, men used to wear dhoti, shirt, and falyu. In the eastern belt, men wore black banyan and short dhoti, while in the South Gujarat, some people wore dhoti or pajama, pairan. Women wear zuladi in North Gujarat. In the present times, most of the tribal communities have adopted the same dress as the mainstream. They are seen in their traditional attire only during their special festivals. Their performances and dances on special occasions are center of attraction even today. The major identity of the Adivasi community is found in their distinctive traditions, dialects, as well as festivals. The Adivasi community has been a lover and preserver of nature. They have faith in elements of nature and various forms of gods and goddesses. They perform various rituals to please them. There are specific customs for marriage also in this society. In every tribe, Punch is an important part of their society and they work to maintain their tradition. At present, tribal society has also changed like other societies due to various schemes of the government, spread of education and technological department. Permanent houses in place of huts, facilities of education, modern attire, and social consciousness is also seen. Students, the tribal people who are living in few different parts of Gujarat, they have their own special identity through their attire and ornaments. They have created a special identity through which way you can recognize them very easily. In North Gujarat, men used to wear dhoti, shirt, and falyu. In the eastern belt, men used to wear black banyan and short dhoti, and in South Gujarat, some people used to wear dhoti or pajama or pehran. In North Gujarat, women wore zuladi. In the present times, most of the tribal communities have adopted the same dress as in the mainstream. They wear their traditional attire only during their special festivals. The major identity of the Adivasi community is found in their distinctive traditions, their dialects, and their festivals. As the Adivasi community has been a lover and preserver of nature, they worship nature as various forms of gods and goddesses and they perform various rituals to please them. Specific customs prevail in the tribal community regarding their marriage. Every tribe has a punch of their society which works to maintain their tradition. At present, tribal society has changed due to government schemes, the spread of education among them, and the technological development. and now they find permanent houses, facilities of education, and modern attire. Social consciousness has prevailed in this society. Know this vibrant life in the fairs. The fairs have a unique identity in Indian society. Due to the traditional lifestyle, the tribals express their folk life beautifully in fairs. Types of folk songs like Shyamla Jina Mele, Ranjanu, Pinjanu Wage doubles people's enthusiasm towards fair. Shyamlaji's fair, that is Shyamlaji Aravali, Kavant no Gher no Melo in Kavant fair, Chota Udaipur, Chitra Vichitra fair, Gunbankari, Sabarkantha, Gai Gori Melo, Nadelav Dahod, Ghor Gadheda Fair, Desawada, Dahod, Dang Darbar in Ahwa, Chul no Melo, organized at various places, are the main fairs in Gujarat. The local tribes mostly dress in their traditional attire in fairs. Along with enjoying some sweets and snacks, articles of household necessities are also purchased. Their enthusiasm is seen flowing through folk songs and dances in the fair. Students, a lot many fairs are organized in the Gujarat by these peoples, and they enjoy very much in this fair. These are the names of the fairs and the places where they are organized. Cultural changes among tribes. As the needs of economy and society increased, there arose a need of people with new arts and skills. Society was divided into various tribes. On the other hand, many tribes and social groups were given status of caste. Among these tribes, groups having special skill are main ones. Now caste has become the basis of organization of society instead of varna. Students, as the needs of economy and society increased, there arose a need of people with new art and skills. So the society was divided into different tribes. Many tribes and social groups are given status of caste, and among these tribes, groups having special skill are main ones. Now caste has become the basis of organization of society instead of varna. Varna system was a race system. Know this Dang Darbar. Dang Darbar is organized every year in Dang, in which kings are honored with annuity, that is Varshasan. Long ago, Dang Darbar started during Holi festival. At that time, the kings and chieftains of the tribes carried out the administration in the areas of present Dang district. In the year 1842 AD, forest belts of Dangs were given to the Britishers. In exchange of the above rights, the government of that time decided to give traditional annuity, that is Saliana, to the Dangi kings and chieftains, which was given at fair held at Dang Darbar. The tradition of giving this annuity is practiced only in Dang in entire India. The tradition of organizing fair named as Dang Darbar continues even today. After independence, the government has increased the amount of annuity given to Dangi kings from time to time. Major tribal areas of India. Tribal population is found in most of the parts of India. The area and influence of the tribes have changed over a period of time. Some tribes were powerful and controlled large territories. The Khokar and Gakkar were major tribes in Punjab during the 13th and 14th century. Kamal Khan Gakkar of this tribe was made the Mansabdar by Akbar. Before Mughals, Multan and Sindh were dominated by the Langa and Argun tribes. The Baloch tribe was the most powerful in the northwestern part of India. It was divided into small clans having various leaders. The Gaddi Gadaria tribe was the main tribe residing in the western Himalayas, while the northeastern part of India was dominated by Naga, Kuki, Mizo, Ahom, and other tribes. Some areas of present Bihar and Jharkhand were dominated by the Chair chiefs till the 12th century. In 1591 AD, Raja Mansingh, the general of Akbar, attacked Chair tribe and defeated them, but he could not bring them under control completely. During the reign of Aurangzeb, The Mughal army captured many forts of the Chay tribe and established dominance over them. The two important tribes of this area were Munda and Santal. Apart from this area, these tribes also lived in Odisha and Bengal. Koli, Berad, and some other tribes lived in the hilly areas of Karnataka and Maharashtra. South India was inhabited in large number by the Koraga, Vaitar, Marwar, and other tribes. Bhils were in large number among these tribes, which were spread in western and central India. The states of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh were the provinces of the Bhil chiefs. Many of the Kabilas had settled till the end of the 16th century as peasants, farmers, and landowners. However, some Bhil clans remained involved in activities like hunting and food gathering. Students, during the 13th and 14th century, the Khokar and Gakkar were the major tribes in Punjab. Kamal Khan Gakkar of this tribe was made the Mansabdar by Akbar, and before Mughals, Multan and Sindh were dominated by the Langa and Arghun tribes, and the Baloch tribe was the most powerful in the northwestern part of India. There was a tribe which lived in western Himalaya, which was Gaddi Kadaria tribe. The northeastern part of India was dominated by Kuki, Mizo, Naga, Ahom, and many other tribes. And some areas of present Bihar and Jharkhand were dominated by the Chair chiefs till the 12th century. Raja Mansingh, the general of Akbar, attacked the Chair tribe and defeated them. But he cannot control the tribe, had a complete control on this tribe. Then, during the reign of Aurangzeb, the Mughal army captured many forts of the Chair tribe and established dominance over them. The two important tribes named Munda and Santal, they lived in some areas of present Bihar and Jharkhand. Then Koli, Berad, and some other tribes lived in the hilly areas of Karnataka and Maharashtra. Koraga, Vaitar, Marwar, and other tribes inhabited in South India. Bhil tribes lived in western and central India. The states of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh were the provinces of the Bhil chiefs. Some Bhil clans involved in activities like hunting and food gathering. Gond and Ahom. Students, let's study about the two tribes, Gond and second one is Ahom. First is Gond. The people living in India's vast forest region called Gondwana are known as Gond, one of the oldest tribes of India. They practiced shifting agriculture. Gond tribe was divided into many small clans and each clan had a king. Akbarnama records that the Gond state of Katkatanga consisted of about 70,000 villages. At present, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh have the highest population of Gonds. Their administrative system was centralized. The kingdom was divided into Gads, each Gad being dominated by a specific Gond clan. Each Gad was divided into a unit of 84 villages known as Chaurasi. Each Chaurasi was subdivided into Barhot. Each Barhot was made up of 12 villages each. Gond society also changed with the rise of big states. Amandas, the Gond king of Gadkatanga, assumed the title of Sangram Shah in order to gain recognition as a Rajput. Dalpat, his son, married Princess Durgavati, the daughter of the Chandel Rajput king of Mahoba. Students, the people living in India's vast forest region called Gondwana are known as Gond tribe. This tribe is one of the oldest tribes of India. The people of this tribe practiced shifting agriculture. And the book Akbarnama, which is written on the life of King Akbar, Mughal King Akbar, which is known as Akbarnama, it records that the Gond state of Gadkatanga consisted of about 70,000 villages. At present, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh have the highest population of Gonds. The administrative system of Gond state was centralized. The kingdoms of Gonds were divided into Gads. Each Gad was being dominated by a specific Gond clan. Each Gad was divided into a unit of 84 villages, known as Chaurasi. Each Chaurasi was subdivided into Barhot, made up of 12 villages each. In order to gain recognition as Rajput, Amandas, the Gond king of Katkatanga, he assumed the title of Sangram Shah. Durgavati was the princess of the Chandel Rajput, king of Mahoba. She married with Dalpat, the prince of Sangram Shah. When Dalpat died at a young age, Durgavati took over the rule in the name of her 5 years old son Veer Narayan. In 1565 AD, the Mughal army led by Asif Khan defeated Durgavati. The queen and her son fought bravely and achieved martyrdom in the battlefield. The state of Gadkadanga made plenty of money by the elephant trade. By conquering Gadkadanga, the Mughals got plenty of wealth and elephants. They controlled most parts of the state while the rest were given to Veer Narayan's uncle Chandra Shah. The Gond kingdom weakened after the decline of Gadkadanga and could not withstand the onslaught of the powerful Bundels and the Marathas. Students, when Dalpat died at a very young age, his wife Durgavati took over the rule in the name of her 5-year-old son Veer Narayan. In 1565 AD, the Mughal army led by Asif Khan defeated Durgavati. The queen and her son fought bravely and achieved martyrdom in the battlefield. The state of Gadkadanga made plenty of money by the elephant trade. By conquering Gadkadanga, the Mughals got plenty of wealth and elephants. The state of Gond was weakened after the decline of Gadkadanga by the Mughal invasion, so it could not withstand the onslaught of the powerful Bundelas and Marathas. Students, let's study about this second tribe, that is Ahom. Ahom people came from present-day Myanmar in the 13th century and settled in the valley area of Brahmaputra river in Assam. They changed the old political system of landlord, that is Bhuya, and established a new state. A vast kingdom was established in 16th century by merging Kuhutio and Koch Hajo into their own kingdom and conquering the surrounding tribes. In the 17th century, they could manufacture ammunition and cannons also. However, there were many attacks on the Ahom people from the southwest. In 1662 AD, they fought valiantly against the Mughal army led by Mir Jumla but lost. But the direct Mughal domination on the area did not last long. The Ahom state was based on forced labor. The people who were forced to work for the state were called pikes. A fixed number of pikes were to be sent from each village. On the basis of census, people from more populated areas were moved to less populated area which led to the division of the Ahom clan. The administrative system became centralized in the first decade of the 17th century. As per the existing laws and regulations, it is a crime to force someone to work. Men of this tribe were active in the army during wartime and at other times in public activities like farming and irrigation. Ahom people implemented innovative methods of paddy cultivation. Ahoms were divided into clans. Their clan was called Khel. Many villages were controlled by the Khels. The land given to the farmers by village community could not be taken back even by the king without consent of village community. Initially, the Ahoms worshipped tribal deities, that is, gods of nature. King donated land for temples and Brahmins. Hinduism became the main religion during the reign of Sip Singh. Despite adopting Hinduism, the Ahom kings did not entirely leave their own traditional beliefs. The Ahom society was a civilized society. Land was donated to poets and scholars. Dramatics were promoted. Important literary works of Sanskrit were translated into the local language. The historical work Buranji was written first in Ahom language and then in Assamese language. Students, in the 13th century, Ahom people came from present Myanmar and settled in the valley area of Brahmaputra river in Assam. They changed the old political system of landlord, which was called Bhuya, and they established a new state. In the 16th century, Ahom people merged the kingdoms Kuhutio and Koch Hajo into their own kingdoms, as well as they established a vast Ahom kingdom by conquering the surrounding tribes. In the 17th century, Ahom people could manufacture ammunition and cannons. In 1662 AD, Ahom people fought valiantly, that is, very bravely, they fought against the Mughal army, which was led by Mir Jumla, but they lost. Ahom state was based on forced labor. The people who were forced to work for the state were called Paiks. On the basis of census, people from more populated areas moved to less populated areas, which led to the division of Ahom clan. As per the existing laws and regulations in India, it is a crime to force someone to work. Men of the Ahom tribe were active in army during the wartime, and at the other times they were engaged in public activities like farming and irrigation. Ahom people implemented innovative methods of paddy cultivation. Ahom communities were divided into clans. Their clan was called Khel. The land given to the farmers by village community could not be taken back even by the king without consent of village community. Initially, the Ahoms worshipped tribal deities, that is, gods of nature. Ahom king donated land for temples, Brahmins, poets, and scholars. Hinduism became the main religion during the reign of Sipsing. The Ahom society was a civilized society. Land was donated to poets and scholars in the society. Dramatics were promoted. The historical work Buranji was written first in Ahom language and then in Assamese language. Changing times, the structure of new tribes. We try to understand the history of the tribes up to the 16th and 17th century. Over the time, many tribes underwent extensive changes. Both societies changed due to the interaction between the people of the caste based society and the tribal society. Different tribes adopted different livelihoods. As the time passed, many of these tribes became part of a caste based society. However, many tribes remained mostly away from Hinduism and caste system. A few tribes established large powerful states with well organized administrative system. So vast empires clashed with them. Students, over the time many tribes went under extensive changes. People from caste based society and tribal society came in contact with each other, and as a result these both societies changed. They adopted different livelihoods, and many of these tribes became part of a caste based society. Many tribes did not adopt Hinduism and caste system, but a few tribes established large, powerful states with well organized administrative systems, and so they clashed with vast empires. So, students, here we end our chapter 5 Adivasis. Students, if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe the channel Asma Babwani. Click on the bell icon to get the latest updates. Like the videos, share the videos, and do comment on all the videos.